Hi, we're just going on a walk because it wasn't connecting. So, welcome to Coffee Talk.
Oh, hey. You guys all right?
Yeah, I had to go over closer to the wireless signal sometimes. Hi guys, welcome to Coffee Talk. With us. All right, so today's our second to last day in the book of Ecclesiastes. So exciting. So we'll have Coffee Talk next week. We'll have a break for Easter, and then the last 4 or 5 sessions, I don't know. We'll think about things we could do. All right, so it's actually a lot to read through today. So turn to Ecclesiastes 9, 13 in your pew Bibles or your regular Bibles if you have them. You would like to, do you want a pew Bible?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
That's a large print, so you can look from a distance. All right. So in this one, the preacher paints a picture of wisdom's actions and benefits in various circumstances. And kind of starts, well, he already has started, but he starts to get a little bit more to the point. So starting in 9:13 through 18. I have also seen this example of wisdom under the sun, and it seemed great to me. There was a little city with a few men in it, and a great king came against it and besieged it, building great siege work against it. But there was found in it a poor wise man, and he by his wisdom delivered the city. Yet no one remembered that poor man. But I say that wisdom is better than might, though the poor man's wisdom is despised and his words are not heard. The words of the wise, heard in quiet, are better than the shouting of a ruler among fools. Wisdom is better than weapons of war, but one sinner destroys much good. So what do you think the preacher is talking about in these verses? It's interesting. It actually has different layers to it. So ultimately, these verses are a call to wisdom in foolish times, even if that wisdom goes unnoticed. So in times like these, we must not count on public gratitude, as it only takes one shouting fool, i.e. a sinner, to persuade the masses of the rightness of his or her cause and lead them to trust in his or her strength and weapons over wisdom. So there's a little bit of a political edge here that it's dealing with, and it'll get, but we got to be careful though with our varying opinions. But there is a political thing going on here, and actually it continues in the next verse as well. And it's not a one-to-one correlation because you're dealing with kings and people with absolute power. But yeah, so yeah, we'll just leave it at that.
Of course, Greg, when you...
Yeah. Well, let me. What are the challenges of trying to walk? Well, this is a good thought, though. Is what are the challenges of trying to walk the path of wisdom when it's largely despised? So there's verse 16. But I say that wisdom is better than might, though the poor man's wisdom is despised and his words are not heard. So I mean, really, what is the advantage? Why would you still walk in wisdom if you're despised and not heard? Darn it! That's actually right. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, as we looked at in other parts of Ecclesiastes, there's something more where even if you have the might and the power, and if you're a fool, you still die. Where wisdom, you still die, but there's an accounting to God. There's a judgment that
Well,
yeah.
I think that's the point, that if the multitude doesn't adhere to your way and you know your way is right, you might convince one person if you speak your piece.
Yeah. And this guy delivered a city with his wisdom and his poor. That last verse is depressing. Verse 18, wisdom is better than weapons of war, but one sinner destroys much good.
It's true.
It's totes. It just in any business, life, family.
That's what he's starting to get all the shop talk.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, you're better
I try not to.
It's tough. I hear you. We have the same
It's
thing.
hard.
When pastors get together, it's just swearing. It's just so much swearing. It's a tough
I've been
temp-
there.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, tough, like really bad jokes. Yeah, it's tough. So, all right, some more beautiful poetry. Chapter 10, verses 1 through 3. Dead flies make the perfumer's ointment give off a stench. A little folly outweighs wisdom and honor. A man's heart inclines him to the right, but a fool's heart to the left. So right was considered the good end, the left is evil. Even when the fool walks on the road, he lacks sense, and he says to everyone that he is a fool. So in your own words, what do you think the preacher is trying to say here? Kind of a continuation of what we already have.
It's interesting that he says that it's the person's heart. And he, in verse 2, that it's not just like, well, you have these silly people, you have these unwise people, but he goes right to the core of it.
Yeah.
He says, like, you could be a good person, but if you allow your heart to become foolish,
Yeah,
then it's going
you'll go to
take
the
you
left.
off path.
I like that.
And it doesn't take much to scrub him.
Yeah. I'm guessing, they made sometimes ointment out of animal fat. So if you get dead flies in there, it's obviously going to stink. All right. So in verse 4, then we get back. I ask, where have you seen this truth play out in both the world and your own life? It's kind of obvious. So let's let that be. But the next verses, we kind of get back into the realm of politics. But again, we're dealing with politics back in ancient Israel and just their surrounding nations. And so we're dealing with absolute kingly power here. But still, there's some stuff you can think of. If the anger of a ruler rises against you, do not leave your place, for calmness will lay great offenses to rest.
I need more of that.
Yeah. So what do you think? Well, let's read that one more time. If the anger of the ruler rises against you, do not leave your place, for calmness will lay great offenses to rest. So what do you think he's trying to say there in that one little verse?
When you strike back out of anger, you need to be calm and relay the truth the way it is. Which I'm not very good at.
So in that case, if the king was mad at you, he could kill you and be cool. But if you just kind of chill out, yeah.
Okay.
And I had that happen one night in the camp.
We did.
If I would have chilled out and went out and said, come when you're ready,
Yeah.
it would have much better.
Yeah. Verse 5, there is an evil that I have seen under the sun, as it were an error proceeding from the ruler. Folly is set in high places, and the rich sit in low places. I have seen slaves on horses and princes walking around like slaves. He who digs a pit will fall into it, and a serpent will bite him who breaks through a wall. He who conquers stones is hurt by, he who quarries stones is hurt by them, and he who splits logs is endangered by them. If the iron is blunt and one does not sharpen the edge, he must use more strength. But wisdom helps one succeed. If the serpent bites before it is charmed, there is no advantage to the charmer. The words of a wise man's mouth win favor for him, but the lips of a fool consume him. The beginning of the words of his mouth is foolishness, and the end of his talk is evil madness. A fool multiplies words, though no man knows what is to be, and who can tell him what will be after him? The toil of a fool wearies him, for he does not know the way to the city. Woe to you, O land, when your king is a child, and your princes feast in the morning. Happy are you, O land, when your king is the son of nobility, and your princes feast at the proper time, for strength and not for drunkenness. Through sloth, there it is, the roof sinks in, and through indolence the house leaks. Bread is made for laughter, and wine gladdens life, and money answers everything. Even in your thoughts, do not curse the king, nor in your bedroom curse the rich. For bird of the air will carry your voice, or some winged creature will tell the matter. That was a lot. What's he saying here? So the first part from verses 8 to 11, we're dealing with more of the metaphor. So he's using imagery to then what he will say outright in the rest of the thing.
I don't think he likes the king very much.
Yeah. But he's also saying, hey, I can't say anything about the king. He's like saying, if he makes you mad, still don't say anything, because your words, if you multiply your words, you're going to say something you regret.
When your king is a child, is that a metaphor? Or
I don't
he acts
know.
like a
Well,
child?
I mean, we don't know exactly when this was written, so it could be both. Because children were made kings at that time if the things happened at the right time.
Well, child isn't very
Yeah.
knowledgeable either.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was saying. Is he acting as a child? Is that what he's saying?
Yeah.
Or he is a child?
Could be both.
Yeah.
We don't
Yeah,
know.
because if like the older died,
Yeah.
their descendant automatically
If it-
becomes king.
and
of
it-
Canaan.
Probably the same issue applies to both ones. If your king acts like a child,
Well, it still
yeah,
holds true today, too.
yeah.
Yeah.
And if your princes feast in the morning for drunkenness, that's an issue. I like just the whole thing. But again, it's talking about, kind of Paul gets at this, when he's talking about, submit to the authorities, under the apostle, when the apostle Paul was alive, about 4 years before he was, he was beheaded. He said of the guy in charge who would soon behead him, he said, submit to him. He's God has placed him there for a reason. Pay your taxes, do your stuff, be a good citizen. In the same sense, this guy is saying, even though you don't like him, do not curse them. Do not, in your bedroom, curse the rich. And I just like the whole, for a bird of the air will carry your voice, or some wing. You're just saying, if you continually curse, and again, we don't have to worry about that quite as much in our land, but in his thing, he's saying if you curse the king, he's eventually going to find out, or little birdies are going to take that news to them.
What does 19 mean?
I have no idea, to be honest with you.
Because I'm sure that doesn't make sense. And the fact that he used bread and wine.
Yeah. Well, he talks about the goodness of bread and wine throughout the thing, and even money when properly used. But I don't know how it connects to verse 19, or how it connects to, maybe here it is, verse 18. Through sloth, the roof sinks in. Through indolence, the house leaks. Bread is made for laughter, and wine for glad is life, and money answers everything. Maybe it's saying don't be slothful, because through toil you get those things. That just kind of comes out of left field, and
That's what
I didn't find a good answer for it.
Sorry, I wouldn't have asked.
What's that?
Is that a note in my
Let's see
Bible?
what yours says.
It says money is the answer for everything looks like the ultimate expression of cynical greed. In reality, it only makes the point that people do not need some money in order to get along in life. Ecclesiastes 2, 1 through 11,
Yeah.
and 6, 1 through 6 have already shown that wealth is not the answer. But this verse gives balance to the picture. Affluence is not the source of happiness, but abject poverty is not a blissful condition.
Yeah.
Reference.
That's But then again, it's like, I agree with that note, but then how does it connect to the 18?
Why is
like
it
it's
in there?
yeah, why is it in there? It's
Yeah.
like, yes, I don't quite. That's where I get
I
stuck.
didn't know how to read that.
Yeah. All right. This is nice. 19, 1 through 6. Cast your bread upon the waters, for you will find it after many days. Give a portion to 7 or even to 8, for you know not what disaster may happen on earth. If the clouds are full of rain, they empty themselves on the earth. And if a tree falls to the south or to the north, in the place where the tree falls, there it will lie. He who observes the wind will not sow, and he who regards the clouds will not reap. As you do not know the way the Spirit comes to the bones in the womb of a woman with child, so you do not know the work of God who makes everything. In the morning sow your seed, and at evening withhold not your hand, for you do not know which will prosper, this or that, or whether both will be good, alike will be good. What do you think this is trying to say? This is
Can't control life.
can't control life. Therefore, what do you do because you can't control life?
Just keep on going.
Keep on keeping on.
Yeah.
Cast your bread upon the waters. He's saying make investments, do things. 1 through 6. Verses 2 and 6 give you some sort of thing. Give portion to 7 or 8, for you know not what disaster may happen upon the earth. So, do your job, invest, give to others. So you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And sitting there, Verse 6, in the morning sow your seed, and in the evening withhold not your hand, for you do not know which will prosper, this or that, whether both alike will be good. I like the way it said, verse 4. Sorry, I'm kind of popping around here a little bit. He who observes the wind will not sow, and he who regards the clouds will not weep. It's pretty much getting at the person paranoid and who's not doing anything because they're so worried about whether the wind will be right tomorrow or whether the rain will be right the next day, won't do anything. Rather, you can't figure this stuff out. So wisdom is to just keep on keeping on, even though things are kind of unknowable at this point. Even though we do have weather apps now, but still, still, yeah.
It changes too.
Yeah. So
Don't count on it.
might
When I
snow
look
this
out the window,
afternoon.
I know.
Don't say that.
It might.
Look forward to that 75.
Unfortunately, he's not wrong. I mean, look at the weather we've had. 30, 70, 30,
Well,
70, 30,
the
70.
weather thing was only calling for a small dust, and
Yeah.
you got 4 inches.
yeah, that was great.
Yeah, we got what you were supposed to get here, and you got what we were supposed to get up there.
Well, I think about when we built the church. One of the things you can do, and it can be done, and there was a tendency, is just we got to wait till everything is just perfect and right, till everything's accounted for, everything's this. And if you do that, nothing will ever happen. So there is a place for risk, and there's a place for going out in obedience and doing things.
Amen.
Yeah, hallelujah. All right. Verses. Oh, sorry. I put in this. Where do you struggle to live like this? What scriptural truths can help push us forward amid the uncertainty of the world?
Don't you think many people just stay in their safe zone?
Yeah.
Just because they're like, oh, I make a paycheck. Where else?
Yeah.
They could go and be an entrepreneur and go make
Yeah.
tons of money and give back and do
Yeah.
things. Like, that's what I think about.
I think I have trouble doing new things sometimes. I want to make sure everything's perfect and right to start doing it, and then I don't do it. And then my sloth guy comes in and says, hey, let's not do it. Have a brownie.
Cook a brownie.
Cook a brownie for yourself. Eat a brownie.
See, I did something. Brownie.
Scriptural truths. I just think of Jesus as seek first the kingdom of heaven, and God will take care of the rest. So, if I'm seeking first the kingdom of heaven, even when I'm like, let's pretend I work for Miranda, like Matt. Even if I just gave you away. Even if I work for whatever place, my job is to seek first the kingdom of God in the way I work and the way I do things, and trust that God will take care of the rest. I can't believe I did that. I'll edit that out before I put it on.
No, we're good.
Okay. All right. You just have to not talk trash on anybody today. All right. Where was I? This is why I don't live stream, in case I do something like that. All right. So verses 7 through 10. Light is sweet, and it is pleasant for the eyes. So if a person lives many years, let him rejoice in them all. But let him remember the days of darkness will be many. I'll thank you a lot. All that comes is vanity. Rejoice, O young man, in your youth, and let your heart cheer you in the days of your youth. Walk in the ways of your heart, in the sight of your eyes. But know that for all these things, God will bring you into judgment. Remove vexation from your heart, and put away pain from your body. For youth and the dawn of life are vanity. What's our boy saying here?
There's only one judge when it comes down to it.
For yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, but pretty much, yeah. Enjoy yourself, but hey, moderation. Remember who the judge is. I like that it affirms youth. There's a sense where youth is good. How enjoy it.
It goes quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, because I'm not in youth anymore, technically.
I think youth last. Yeah, youth.
You're a teen still, though, right?
I mean, technically, but
Youth. My youth ended.
I'm accountable now.
If I were to think of how I was in my 30s, my early 30s to where I am now, I'd say 30s. I was still pretty immature.
Yeah.
Not in my later 30s like you, obviously, but my early at 30, 31. It was really kids that just strip away your youth.
I like the
One
age
fit
of
after another.
25, because it
Yeah.
seemed like, you reached a milestone, now you're an adult, and
Yeah.
the first 25 years.
I was still an idiot. I was a
I
late
think-
bloomer.
Yeah.
But yeah. It didn't help that I continued in school, and that probably hurt me too, that I didn't really have to jump into the adulting world right away, where I just did a grad school. But yeah. all the things that I would change. But
I
yeah,
asked the question, kind of goes back to the previous one. Don't you think, though, that we can't just sit back. If we had just sat back and say, okay, Lord, give us $1,900 so we can pay for their screw up.
yeah,
I don't think it would have happened, okay? So
Yeah.
we're going to rain money from the sky. But he, for some reason, I remember that GoFundMe thing.
Yeah.
And
Oh, he's not saying anything
why don't
against
you
that.
go
Yeah.
and do that
Yeah.
and see what kind of help you can
Yeah.
assist. Because it wasn't 100% his fault.
yeah,
So, because the other ones didn't tell us,
Yeah.
because he lost his funding,
yeah,
he had to pay for that class. But he had to take that class
Yeah.
because he had to prove to them that he could get a C
Yeah.
class, and then he got his A back, but not till
Yeah.
the first. So,
yeah. Well,
so we had to do something.
yeah.
Well,
Well, he's not saying to do anything. He's saying cast your bread upon the waters for you. He's saying do it.
Yeah.
Don't sit. If you would have sat in the in the trailer and just been like, all right, well, wait. That's not what he's saying. No, do it. Do the GoFundMe. Work
I
at
felt guilty.
Yeah. Work at Speedway. Yeah, I understand. You're thinking of the thing where he was talking about don't do anything when the kings are going after you. That's a whole different thing.
Okay.
But in this instance, it's cast your bread upon the waters. Work Speedway, right? Is where you're half working right now. Speedway? No.
No, it's a shift, and you go to
Different places.
Yeah,
Okay.
Circle K,
A circle. Yeah.
Marathon.
Yeah. All right. Verses. All right. So now to chapter 12, 1 through 8. Remember also your Creator in the days of your youth. I love this. Oh, this is such a. We all are going to love this. So enjoy this description for those of you that are eldered around us, and also even for us that are starting to feel it. Enjoy this description of old age. So remember also your Creator in the days of your youth, before the evil days come and the years draw near, of which you will say, I have no pleasure in them. Before the sun and the light and the moon and the stars are darkened and the clouds return after the rain, in the day when the keeper of the house trembles and strong men are bent and the grinders cease because they are few, and those who look through windows that are dimmed and the doors on the street are shut, and when the sound of the grinding is low and one rises up at the sound of the bird and all the daughters' songs are brought low, they are afraid also of what is high and terrors that are in the way. The almond tree blossom, the grasshopper drags itself along, and desire fails because man is going into his eternal home, and the mourners go about the street. Before the silver cord is snapped, or the golden bowl is broken, or the pitcher is shattered at the fountain, or the wheel at the cistern, and the dust returns to the earth as it was, and the spirit returns to God who gave it. Vanity of vanities, says the preacher. All is vanity.
Is that what you lead off with at a funeral?
Yeah.
That's it. That's the go-to.
All right. So kind of
Who wrote Ecclesiastes?
could have been Solomon. He doesn't reveal himself. He just says the preacher is the way he reveals himself. And actually, Ecclesiastes itself means the preacher in Hebrew.
Wasn't it pretty?
In Greek, I mean.
Solomon.
It probably
Pretty,
is,
like,
yeah.
History says it's
Yeah.
Solomon.
I just like to refer to him the preacher because he kind of wanted to.
Because
Yeah.
I just studied something about that.
Yeah. Where were we? All right. So,
Talking about how you feel right now.
yeah. What do you think it means to remember your Creator in the days of your youth? Since you're the only youth here now, what do you think it means to remember your Creator in the day of your youth? They kind of already got to it. Just remember who made you as you're enjoying the benefits of youth. Remembering and
Yeah.
remember that you.
Don't be young and dumb.
Yeah, and I think too.
I mean, I feel like every young person's
In a
dumb. but-
nutshell.
Amen. Hallelujah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's also, it's keep these lessons that you're learning. So I learned Ecclesiastes relatively younger, in my late 20s. I really started getting into it. But grab the stuff before you become old and all your light fails, because you're going to run into trouble. It's not a last second thing. So acquire that wisdom of knowing your Creator when you're young, because when you're old, it may be too late. So it is in youth and not old age that the realities of Ecclesiastes are best confronted. when they can drive us into action, not despair and vain regrets. Because if I realize this stuff too late, then I'll be like, oh, I wish I would have known. I wish I would have remembered my Creator in my youth rather than doing this. Or I wish I would have remembered about, casting my bread upon the waters instead of living in the house of fear all of my lives. So, yeah.
I was 14 years old, and my mom had died, and I was a living keeper of the household. And I still went to school, but I ran in the evening with an older group. And at 14, I could drink a quart of beer faster than they could shut it down. And one day, one night actually, we were playing cards, and I said, we were in my house, and I said, I'm going to bed, you guys can go, I've got school tomorrow. And I tripped going upstairs, and I knew I was getting a little bit of a buzz on it, this is what they call it now. And I decided at that point, this was not for me, and I am not doing this anymore. And I switched to group I ran with, and I came back to God, so to speak.
That's
Yeah, you have to be wise in your youth, because if you don't, you can go down a path where you could become a drunk very quick.
yeah.
Well, especially with what's happened through your life
Well, I know.
at that age.
Verses 2 through 7, the author presents a metaphorical description of the aging process and death. So like in the beginning, he uses apocalyptic imagery of, like the end of the road, but he's actually talking about you dying. So which items seem to resemble specific aspects of aging? That's kind of, some of the images are like a little out there, but. Getting weak, yeah.
Well, just because you're strong one day doesn't mean you'll be in the future. The strong men are bent.
Yeah.
The grasshopper drags itself along.
Wait.
Instead of hopping.
Yeah, oh, it's so sad.
That feeling whenever you're a kid and being invincible.
Yeah,
You know
oh,
what I mean? Like nothing can happen.
Yeah.
You're more able to like I'm definitely afraid of heights. But like being a kid, that probably came from being a kid and climbing in trees and everything else at my granddad's place and down, fell out of trees several times. Like you feel like you're invincible. I can get it.
Now if you fall from a tree, if you fall from a tree now, it's like you're out for about 2 months. Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, forget it. I'm not even going to attempt to try. I mean, I start getting nervous and shaking and start sweating whenever I get 2 steps off the ground.
I was walking down the road and my brother went swoom, down to the ground. I thought I'd find him broken in pieces. And he was pretty bad. We had to take him off because he was bleeding.
Because Adrian branch come too, and my husband said, he's fine.
So it's his fault. I don't like heights.
I would have said it to my son every time.
I said, no, it's not.
Get up and walk it off.
That's some third inning, you'll be fine.
Dempsey flipped a quad 2 weeks ago and I could flip it over. Let's go.
So are there any, my brothers and sisters in aging, are there any of these that you particularly identify with?
We're looking at this through our reading glasses.
Yeah. I never was a strong man, so I don't really worry about losing my strength.
I can't even make fun of that because I'm supposed to wear glasses and don't.
It's because you don't really need them for.
Well, I need it for that stuff. I'm supposed to do that for those. But do I? No.
I think the 2 things that stand out to me are I'm assuming when they talk about like the golden bowl in the jar, they're talking about like
Your brain. That's what I thought too.
So like what I used to be able to learn quickly now takes me a lot longer. My concentration.
I noticed that, yeah.
Like,
Not you, no, with me, yeah, I noticed this.
Wow.
When I came here 12 years ago and did that youth retreat, you were like, oh,
I have a couple cards for some other churches if you need to go.
how dare you? But yeah,
it doesn't.
I've noticed.
The concentration takes.
I noticed cognitive slippage around 42. Where
Just
it's
like forgetting.
Yeah,
things.
we're
Things
just.
that I'm like, where did I put my keys?
Yeah.
Like, I do that every day almost.
And the recovery time, like we were talking, like it doesn't. You overdo it one day, you feel it. I'm feeling it today from yesterday, big time. So this really hits.
I just love the, before, remember the Creator in the days of your youth, before the evil days come and the years draw near, of which you will say, I have no pleasure in them. I just could picture myself like at 68, just being like, I have no pleasure in this. Yeah, but
I'm a grasshopper.
yeah, I'm just grasshopper dragging. All right, this is from my Lutheran study Bible here in the application part. The aches of old age make it difficult to envision anything hopeful and positive. Such bodily changes may overwhelm any joy we still have in life. Yet the same God who consigned us to the grave because of sin has also promised us that we will be rescued from the grave and his eternal judgment. Through hearing the word in our youth, he will prepare us for old age. He promises, his promises will stay with us. So considering the quote above, what are some ways you can prepare yourself for the challenges of old age while you still have your youth? And I would argue, that if you're here this morning, and even if you make it to church in the morning, you still got some youth in you. Because, I'm thinking about my peeps in Concordia who are unable to make it here. That's the grasshopper dragging itself along. So, yeah. So what are some ways you can prepare yourselves for the challenges of old age while you still have your youth? Shirley.
I'm from the farm, and your diet is the most valuable thing you can do to be healthy in your old age.
I agree.
I can see, I can hear, I can walk, I can drive. I'm going to be 87 this August.
It was all that beer.
Then I quit just in the nick of time.
It relaxed you just enough.
Yes, it fermented my food and made it twice as valuable.
Yeah, there you go.
I also think it's like you can do a lot today when you're sound of mind for a legacy for the future of tomorrow.
Yeah, I like that. Scripturally, I think, it's...
Well, I do the giveaway all of it. Like, I would want to, that's my goal. I don't want to die with anything. I want to give it all away. And not to my kids. They can earn their own.
Yeah. Father, please.
You would give to somebody else's kids before yours. Bad.
Yes,
they're set up. Yeah. If they can, they'll be okay. They're going to go to college and stuff. If they can't make it on that, that's on them, not me.
It's a little one. Been too long, I forgot his name.
Dempsey?
But little man, isn't he doing the small sprints now?
Yeah, so they're set up. They're very blessed. How about that?
One of the things I think of it spiritually is, confronting realities. This is depressing, but it is confronting the realities of death. A lot of people don't like to look into what's going to happen to them at old age. But rather, while you still have your youth, even as late as your 70s, looking in and going, okay, who is Jesus for me when I'm unable to dress myself? Who is Jesus for me in these instances? Look into that and bravely face those challenges and, ponder God's word in your heart continually because, as one who's ministered to a lot of old people, so I hate to say it that way, but ministers a lot of elderly, the ones who have scripture in their heart, even if they're in the same physical condition, they do mentally a lot better because they can hold on to that as hope where it's rough when the ones who don't, and you're trying to teach them a truth to hang on to, and they have no root, even though they might believe it in the shallow sense of the word. There's no root. Where I think of Paul Schmieder is a good example. He has a Lewy body dementia. He doesn't remember much, but his faith from a lifetime of faith is still there. So he is able to say the Lord's Prayer when you say it in front of him. He knows communion is something, even though he's a little there, but that's huge, or I think of Kurt McCullough. You remember the McCulloughs, right? He also he had dementia pretty bad, and he would still hum. He would hum, "What child is this?" Things like that. He had stuff so ingrained in his heart that even when he was losing his mental faculties, it was still there. So that's a thing of one of the reasons why you come to church, but also one of the reasons why you're in the Word throughout the week and even learning songs.
Yes, tons of music
Yeah.
in a different spot in the brain.
Yeah, because Sabrina Carpenter's espresso will not be speaking to me when I'm on the grave. Maybe a little
Are you
bit.
sure?
Maybe a little bit.
I just did want to clear up. What do you consider old? What's the age? Just so your listening audience knows when you say old.
Well, I'd say it's
Hobie's
anywhere Hobie or above. No, so Hobie watches it. So anything Hobie, and it's really not so much age as it is just the Hobiness. You know, once it curmudgeon, grunchy, yeah. So if Hobie, if you're watching this, definitely, I think.
I'm sorry, Greg here talking.
Yeah,
I feel bad.
Greg, definitely, Greg feels better. But yeah, definitely, I would say look and acting like Hobie is really when the age starts to hit. So I'm glad thank you for having me clarify that. I really don't know that question anymore because now I'm too afraid to say it.
Well,
But
because
I
now
really,
we're getting old. So yeah. Because when you're a kid, you think your parents.
well, I think we should let our elder stateswoman say this. What would you say? When did you say I'm old? When did that hit?
She hasn't yet.
I have your
There you go. All right.
I can tell he's never been upset. So you can tell that.
She makes me feel old.
That's
she runs
true.
circles around me half the
Well,
time.
there you go. So maybe old is in the mind, and we need to have a little. We need to have an intervention with Hobie.
I
Okay.
think that the Bible has a lot to do with that.
Yeah.
It keeps you young.
Yeah.
I
Definitely keeps your
know
wits.
in Merson, it's my grandmother. I showed my daughter just yesterday the house that I lived in when I was little. And my grandmother was a heavy-set woman. And she used to walk, Connie and I, who were 6 months apart, it's like having twins almost, and she would walk us a half a mile up to this church. I have the certificate at home from going there for the year. So I never stopped, and when I used to say 6, but I re-examined it, and it was when I came back, when my dad brought me back to his mom. So I had to be going to be 8 that year. And I turned to God, but I had walked that day up to the church myself because my dad was leaving. So I argued with God and I told him, I said, you have always been my Heavenly Father, but I said, now you have to be